And a good day to everyone. I'm Jewel, and this is the weather you need to know with J7409 Weather. Thank you so much for checking out the weather with me today. I appreciate it so very much. And don't forget, if you're into the weather, you need to know what's going on with watches, warnings, weather in different areas in the lower 48, the updates, also tropical weather. Please click subscribe and then click the bell to ensure you get all the latest information. I would appreciate it so much. Lots going on, folks. The remnants of Imelda is to bring heavy rain and possible flash flooding across the southern plains and the Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas region today. We got several thunderstorms and flash flooding that's possible across the northern plains today and the central plains by tomorrow. And we've got some early season snow likely across the northern Rockies. This and everything else is coming up. So let's start with severe weather today. Where should it happen? As you see the categorical outlook here, we do have those scattered severe storms associated with wind damage, isolated large hail, and maybe a couple of tornadoes are possible today across the northern plains, with marginally severe storms possible in the path and parts of central and the southern high plains, as you can see. Tornado effects, yes, we do have it. 5% chance, mainly up in South Dakota, with a 2% chance in portions of northwestern Minnesota, going down into South Dakota, mostly in North Dakota is where the tornadoes is at 5%, and also down in Nebraska and some of Wyoming, and the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, a little bit of New Mexico. You do have that 2% chance of maybe a tornado today. So far as the wind, the greatest winds are in the same areas, looking like northwestern Minnesota, North and South Dakota, the panhandle portions of Nebraska, and also parts of Montana and Wyoming. But that 5% chance goes all the way down into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, with parts of Kansas and Colorado in it. What about that hail? Big hail is expected, same places, 15%, northwestern Minnesota, North and South Dakota, portions of the panhandle of Nebraska, maybe eastern Wyoming, and just a tad of Montana. And here we have the GFS precipitation type rate map today. And I'm going to turn it on, tell you what is happening. You can see where some snow may start to drizzle down in the lower 48 up from Canada today. So let's turn it on and get going. Please stick around. I'll have a quick check of what's going on with Jerry in the tropics. And later today, this morning, I will have a complete tropical update. Now, tropical depression Imelda has finally dissipated, but its remnants will still bring heavy rain and possible flash flooding to portions of the southern plains and the Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas region today. We do have that risk of excessive rainfall in effect, where 1 to 3 inches of rain is forecast. Now, this comes after 40 inches of rain, my friends, fell in parts of southeast Texas during the last 4 days. Can you believe that? They had flash flood emergencies going on all day yesterday. Now, meanwhile, excuse me, we have a low pressure system. It's going to make a gradual progress from the Rockies to the northern plains to Ontario over the next few days. Now, an associated cold front should push into the plains today and tonight, and this front should lead to thunderstorms in the northern and central plains both today and tomorrow, and some of these storms could be severe with large hail and damaging winds, as I've just showed you. Now, it seems that coming up, we've got also a risk for thunderstorms across the northern plains area today, the central plains tomorrow, and flash flooding could also be a very big concern, especially Saturday and Sunday night in portions of the Central Plains as this front begins to interact with lingering moisture from Imelda. Now remember me telling you Imelda was going to move on up? Well, that's what it's doing. Now, rainfall amounts in excess of 3 inches are forecast from central Kansas into northern Missouri, and you have this very good chance, I should say, of getting some excessive rain. Temperature-wise, colder air. It's going to continue to push through the western states behind the cold front, and this is expected to lead to accumulating snow in the higher elevations of the interior Northwest, particularly in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming if you are above 8,000 feet elevation. There's winter weather advisories that's been issued across these regions where up to a foot of snow is possible. High temperatures will be as much as 15 to 25 degrees below average in these areas. Now, ahead of the cold front, high temperatures will be above average in the plains and central U.S., with the warmth spreading to the East Coast by this weekend. Yes, it's cooled up at my house. Yesterday was great. Wednesday was cooler. Today's going to be cool, but tomorrow it's going to warm back up, folks. Won't be long before we're in the mid to upper 80s, possibly 90s again. Now, these temperatures will be most above average in the Great Lakes, with highs in the 80s and lows in the mid to upper 60s on a widespread basis. Now, those temperatures are more typical of average conditions in midsummer in this region. Where in the world is Hurricane Jerry this morning? This is the latest coordinates from the National Hurricane Center. You can see it is well off the coast of Antigua and Barbuda this morning. We have St. Kitts and Nevis over here, Guadeloupe, Anguilla up here. The British Virgin Islands are up here. So it's looking like you guys are going to be spared. However, you will be getting rain. This morning, the location of Jerry, 18.4 north, 58.7 west. It's about 290 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands, just like I showed you. The winds are 105 miles per hour. It's moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is 28.97 inches. Changes with the advisory are none. Everybody who was under the tropical storm watch yesterday and last night, you still are. That includes the tropical storm watch for St. Martin, St. Bartholomew, Saba, and St. Estuus. Now, this tropical storm watch means, you could have conditions in 24 hours. But interest elsewhere in the northern Leeward Islands, you should monitor the progress of Jerry. Now, maximum sustained winds are near 105. It should have a gradual weakening trend forecast to begin later today. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 80 miles at this time. Now, on the forecast track, the center of Jerry will move north of the northern Leeward Islands later today and pass well north of Puerto Rico tomorrow, and be well east-northeast of the southern Bahamas on Sunday. When it comes to rain, this is what you should get right in here. 1 to 3 inches of rain with an isolated maximum totals of maybe 4 to 6 from Barbuda, northwest across St. Martin, Anguilla, and Ghana. I know I said that wrong, excuse me. Jerry's forecast to produce total rainfall accumulations of 1 to 2 inches with maximum amounts of 3 across the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And tropical storm conditions are possible within this watch area for wind later today. We all know the surf's going to have big swells in it, and the rip currents are going to be awful. And this is for portions of the northern Leeward Islands. And these swells are likely to cause all this surf and rip current conditions. So please, Always consult your local weather people and your local authorities. Don't go out in the water if you don't have to. Once again, I will have a complete tropical update later this morning coming up. That's a check of the weather you need to know today. I love you all. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate and just thank you for everything you do for me. Have a good day, a safe day, a blessed day, and peace, love, and kindness to all.